Hi guys, already we have seen like a what are the components are required to make like a Spring Boot with REST application. So what are the components we have discussed like a these are the things we have discussed. What is the class? So for example, if I want to make like a any REST service in with Spring Boot with REST service, generally we declare like that class as like a at the rate REST controller. We can declare like this. Of course we can declare at the rate controller, and moreover we have to do one step. What we have to do? For each method we need to declare like a response body. Like when this annotation is useful to do the marshalling and unmarshalling. For example, in case of, for example, if you are sending like a XML request, that XML request has to be converted as some Java object. How it is possible? Who does that job? This request body. Request body. In vice versa, for example, if you are sending like a Java object, I want to send as a either XML or JSON format, any other format also. So how the formats are defining, I am going to tell anyway. But whenever we are sending this Java object to convert like a XML or a JSON format, how it is possible? By using like a response body annotation. So because of adding like a two annotations, if you declare like a class as a at the rate REST controller, then no need to declare for each and every method like a response body. Okay, so I hope you are getting my point what I said now. Moreover, not only declaring as a controller also, we can declare like a component also, but it is not at all good. Why? Because to make this is the presentation class. Controller is nothing but a controller class. That controller class, how we are going to define at the rate controller? So for example, if it is a service class, generally how the structure is there for any kind of application. If you see any application from UA to the controller, like a presentation layer to the service layer to the DOO layer. DOO is interacting with the database. If you take any application, whatever existing application, if you see, the same structure is follows. Like just like defining the names also. This is the presentation layer. Okay, this is the service layer. This is the DO layer. Why we are calling like a DO layer? Because it is interacting with the database. Why we are calling like a service layer? Definitely the business logic is implemented here only. The business logic is implemented where the business logic is implemented in the service layer. What is the presentation layer? It is controlling whether which method has to be called. That will be decided by the presentation layer. For example, once we are getting the data sent back to the client. The client may be like a JSP page, the client may be like a JSP page or HTML page, whatever it is the page. Like sometimes in case of the REST application, the client is nothing but a different application also. In such cases, how we are going to represent the data? In the controller, we are preparing the data, and whatever the getting the model data. Model is nothing but a data. The data we are sending back to the client. In case of Spring Boot with REST applications, what is happening? We are using like a response body annotation, which converts like the conversion will be taken place. Like whatever, for example, this Java object. For example, Java object contains like a EID, ename, salary. These three fields are going to be converted as some JSON format, which is sent back to the client. Otherwise, some different application. So how it is possible? Because of this annotation. Who takes care of to conversion of like that format, like XML format into object or object to the XML format? Who does that job exactly? These two annotations. What are the annotations? Like a request body annotation and response body annotations. Okay, now this is the things. So here also, if you develop like a Spring Boot with REST applications or a Spring Boot with web applications also, previously if you are develop the application, same application by using Spring, we need to configure like so many configurations are required. What are the configurations are required? Dispatcher servlet configuration is required. So here, whereas in case of Spring Boot, no need to configure like a dispatcher servlet. Of course, we need to sometimes, if it is XML, we need to configure like a web.xml also, if it is a Spring with web application. In case of Spring Boot, no need to configure like a web.xml file also. Same thing is applied for the even with the Spring Boot with REST applications also. So the same difference is there. What is the difference with the Spring Boot with MVC applications and the Spring Boot with REST application? It gives like a different format. The response can be in the different formats. So like if you see from Spring 4.x onwards, the annotations are like a HTTP methods are there. What are the HTTP methods? We will note down here. What are the HTTP methods? Like get method, like post method, put method, delete method, like this, and update method. So how we are going to take like a, for example, if it is a get request, how it is known to the get request, who takes like a get request, how to write that method inside like a REST controller or a controller by using like a @get mapping annotation. For example, if it is a post mapping, post means posting the data, get means accessing the data. Here accessing the data means we are getting the employees, a list of employee records. Which method we have to use? Get method we have to use. For example, I am posting the data. Posting the data means inserting the records into the database. Which method we have to use? Post method. How it is going to take the request? @post mapping. For example, put means updating the record. Updating the records, in order to updating the record, which method we have to use? @put mapping. Like that. So for the delete the record, which one we have to use? Delete mapping. I hope you are getting my point. Just note down the things whatever I have explained now. So it will be useful to you after class also. If you revise once, then you will get the clarity on this surely. Yeah. Let's go to the next point. Up to now, what we developed, like how the Spring Boot with REST applications, how we are going to develop, we have seen the as of now. So generally, let's come to the microservices. Let's come to the microservices. Microservices means generally as of now we have seen like a complete. For example, if you see one application, in this application we have like a different functionalities are there. Let's see like a which application, some railway application for example. In this railway application we have like a different functionalities, like what are the functionalities are there? Like a search ticket, like booking ticket, am I correct? Any other functionalities are there? Booking ticket or a fare ticket, the price of the ticket. All these functionalities are available, am I correct? So here what is happening, in the monolithic applications means there are two kinds of applications are there after microservices came into the market. Because if you see any applications, there are three kinds of applications are there. What are the kinds of applications? Migration applications, development applications, and supporting applications. So if now the Spring Boot is more demand in the market, so every applications are going to be developed by using with the Spring Boot with and microservices. For example, if already some applications which are developed by using like of course they might be developed by the Spring or some other technology, so they are going to migrate it into the Spring Boot because the more benefits of there, so that we should learn completely on the Spring Boot clarity. Okay. So in case of here, what kind of applications we have? Like first one is nothing but a monolithic applications are there. After that, completely the applications are going to be developed by using like a microservices. Microservices means, what does it means? Monolithic application. For example, where we are going to deploying the applications generally in the server. What are the servers we are using? Like a Tomcat server, like some different kinds of servers, like a WebLogic server. These all the kinds of servers are there, application servers. Here generally we are deploying complete IRCT application into this railway application into server. What is the problem? For example, if the server is down, all the services are down. Am I correct? So that what is the problem? If the one server is down, the complete applications is nobody can access to search the ticket, to book the ticket, to pay, to get the pair of the ticket. It's not at all possible. So that is the reason. But microservices means we are completely divide this application into parts. For example, search is one microservice. It is deployed into its own server, its own Tomcat server, for example. This is search service. This is deployed into the complete Tomcat server. For example, if you are developing like a booking the ticket also deployed into the one Tomcat server. It's a, in case of Spring Boot, generally what we call this server is nothing but a embedded server. Already I have explained same point in the earlier also. What I explained, what are the benefits? In the benefits itself, only one of the benefit is nothing but an embedded server. Of course, that is nothing but either it can be Tomcat or JBoss, whatever it is. So I hope you are getting my point, what I am explaining. Just note down the things, it would be useful to you. Okay, let's so that if you are if you are dividing the each and every service into different services, what is the advantages? For example, the service is down, but user can access like a search service. This is pair service, like getting the pair. For example, this is the finally booking the ticket. Generally, we never the booking the ticket. Always we are searching the ticket only. Somebody only. There, if it is urgent only, we are going to book the ticket. That is happens generally. So in case of this one, it can